One, two, one, two. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a new season here on Assetto Corsa Competizione, here at Motive Racing on the PlayStation 5 platform. We're here tonight at Laguna Seca for the first time on the PS5 actually here at Motive. We raced Laguna Seca a few times on the PS4, but this is the first time on the PS5. Unfortunately, we've got a bit of a depleted grid here tonight. We were hoping we'd have a few more, but I think we're expecting 15 for race 2. But we've got 13 drivers currently out on the track at the moment. We had, I think it was 8 people said they couldn't make tonight on the check-in. So I suppose all in all, you know, we kind of got to take what we got here. But nonetheless, we've still got a fair few drivers out there, so it should be an exciting race here. We've got Jazzman, who did the fastest time in the qualifying session a few moments ago, the one-shot quali. He was 6/10 actually quicker than Titus in the house, so quite a decisive margin there for Jazzman. And obviously he's been the champion of the Sprint League here in the past, not when it was on the PS4 and when it also ran on a Sunday. Titus in the house is the reigning champion of this GT3 Sprint League, so Jazzman looking to try and take that honour off of him this season here for season 5. Obviously Jazzman last season was only a reserve, only raced in the final couple of rounds because he was in his homeland of South Africa visiting family, so wasn't around for the majority of the season. But he's back here and back with a vengeance, I'm sure, hoping to take back the crowns which he feels, which I'm sure he'll feel that should have been his, should he have been here. But Titus in the house nonetheless had a fantastic season last season. He took an insane number of wins. I can't remember exactly how many it was, but over the course of, well, we had 16 races in the season, because it was, well, yeah, 2 races per round, 8 rounds. We had 16 races, and I think he took wins in about 11 of them. It was either 11 or 12 wins from 16 races. It was an unbelievable season anyway. It was a totally dominant performance from him all season long. But this season, Jazzman, as I said before, will be looking to try and take that back off of him. G-Sanks will be starting 3rd for this race. He seems to have just dropped behind Max Power here, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Max Power seems to be behind Toady Zero, and there seems to be a bit of a messed up order here. So G-Sanks, for some reason, unbeknownst to me, has now dropped down the order somehow. Not quite sure what's going on here, but hopefully he gets that sorted out. But anyway, so yeah, we've now got Robe set in 3rd, but obviously that will change once G-Sanks regains his positions. TJ Carlo, what can he do here? Can he get on the podium? Can he get further up than that? We saw him join towards the end of last season. Yeah, he's just been sort of getting his teeth into the action here at Motive. He was very strong in the latter stages of the Tier 2s for the main GT3 Championship, which we run on a Sunday. So he's got credentials, and I'm sure he'll be looking to try and battle it out for the wins in that division, because he's very quick into Tier 2s on a Sunday. Obviously with only 1 tier on a Wednesday, seeing as we don't have as many drivers on a Wednesday, obviously, you know, it's even harder for him, but he's able to sort of get on the fringe of the podium even in this league. So I'm sure that on a Sunday he'll be looking to try and fight for that Tier 2 crown next season and get himself up into the creme de la creme of Tier 1. But nonetheless, guys, we're coming in towards the final corner here at Laguna Seca. We're moments away from the start of Season 5 here at Motive on ACC on the PlayStation 5. Got 13 drivers out on the track here. We're hoping we're going to have a couple more. We should have Caterpillar, and fingers crossed we'll have another driver in as well. We'll have to see, but here we are nonetheless up towards the line. It looks like we are almost underway. We're now under the lights, and here we go. We are green. We're racing now down towards turn 1 here, and who's got a better start out of Jazzman and Tynus? I think Tynus might have got the jump here on Jazzman. Looking on the outside, no, Jazzman holds the inside line, goes later on the brakes a little bit. Tynus almost getting a tap in the rear there from the number 61 car of G-Sanks. Robe here might have lost out to Max Power here, as these two are side by side. Tynus there defending there from G-Sanks for the time being, and looks as though Robe's got back ahead of Max Power here. So Robe's back up into 4th place there, but it's currently Jazzman from Tynus, G-Sanks, Robe, Max Power the top 5, and then they've got Totally Zero just behind them, who's got Kevsin looking up his inside in towards turn 4, but he's not going to be able to make that move just at the moment then, and it's all as you were as we see. Tynus made a mistake here. Tynus made a big mistake, loses out to Robe and Max Power. What's Max Power doing? He's got the inside. Oh, Max Power pushes Robe off, and Max Power, they're getting it all wrong onto the dirt a little bit. Oh, and he just gets it. Oh, he gets a horrible twitch there as he came back onto the track, goes into the side of Kev Sim there. Where's Tynus ended up? He's ended up pretty much scot-free in that one. TJ Carlo's going to mistake. They go into the corkscrew, and he goes wide onto the gravel there. TJ Carlo rejoins the track just behind Kevsim, and Crazy Legs is going to come through as well here. So TJ Carlo there losing a few places. Had a bit of a twitch. He was looking around the outside of Tynus into the corkscrew, but Tynus in the house there running in third place. So damage definitely limited for him after what was quite a turbulent first lap of this race. You currently got the rest of them there going through your shot right now, going through the final corner. You've got Day 666 back out there, obviously after a little bit of a layoff. Good to see him back out on track once again here at Motive, as he did bail out in the middle of last season. Said he wanted to just get a bit more practice in and improve the game, as Ericote had a bit of a spin there coming out of the penultimate corner and gets it back pointing the right way again. Obviously jumped in as a very late standing tonight, did Ericote, and we want to thank him for that, because obviously making up the numbers here tonight and helping us out a little bit. So big thank you to Erico for that, but so far not having the night that I'm sure that he would have been wanting to. But you can't really knock him at all, because to be fair, he did jump in at a very late notice here. But in the meantime, Jazzman leading by just under 2 seconds over G Sanks. You've got last season's champion of this league, Tynus there running in third place ahead of Robe, followed by Max Power, who's running just ahead of Totally Zero. There's Kev Sim ahead of Crazy Legs. TJ Carlo in the pits there, obviously, because we saw him with a bit of damage there, and we saw Fierce Mars there going wide there onto the dirt as well. And Day 666 is going to be too far away to capitalise on that going into the corkscrew, as Fierce Mars, is that Fierce Mars going deep there going into the corkscrew? It is Fierce Mars, and he's into the wall as well, so he's going to have damage on the car to boot, and that's gone even worse there for Fierce Mars. He seems to be in real trouble here in the first part of this race. But we've got High Grade in the comments there saying, come on Robe. Robe currently running in 4th place at the moment in High Grade. A couple of seconds behind Tynus at this point, but Tynus is pulling away from him. Tynus is closing in on G Sanks. Jazzman's extending his gap over G Sanks bit by bit. The gap between Jazzman and Tynus is just over 4 seconds at this point. Obviously these two driving into Honda, the NSX this season. They've switched it up a little bit. They've generally gone for either the Bentley or the BMW, both of them. Or Jazzman actually. I think it's always gone in the Bentley. As far as I can remember, but Tynus there in the Honda for this season as well, was last season in the BMW for the Sprint League, and in the GT3 Championship on a Sunday he was driving in the Bentley, as he always has. So yeah, Tynus in the house here, driving in the Honda, likewise with his teammate, which is an interesting choice of car, and how is it all going to work for them over the course of this season? That's what we're going to find out, obviously, over the course of the next few weeks, I guess. But Jazzman here still leading the race by just over 2 seconds. G Sanks there in second, with Tynus in the house currently keeping the gap at around 4 seconds to Jazzman. He is closing in on G Sanks as well, so Tynus is bringing the fight to G Sanks more and more as this race goes on. Currently got 9 people watching the stream. Guys, if you're enjoying what you're watching, then please do smash the like button and subscribe to the channel as well. We've got Totally Zero says, new season Motive live stream again. Of course, mate, of course. What more could you expect from us? We got High Grade here. He's saying, yeah, I was just saying the same thing again. This lobby is messed up, says Jamie Carlo. What's wrong with it? Is it lagging? Because the ping seems to be not. It seems to be very good. Ping's 9 milliseconds, so I don't know what's happened there. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. But Mike there in the comments says, hi from Mike. From the F1 season. Hello Mike, good to see you chiming in here on the stream. Always, that's Max Power, they're getting it all wrong into the wall as well. They're coming out of turn 2, and that's going to cost him a few places here by the looks of it, and he'll also lose time as well with damage. Dave moves ahead of him, so does Fierce Mars. So Max Power here down to P10. No, in fact he comes out ahead of Fierce Mars, so Max Power still ahead of Fierce Mars in 9th place currently in this race, but with a bit of a mistake there, got a bit onto the curb and snapped the other way into the wall he went, and there was no saving that, no hope in hell of stopping that one from happening. But currently Totally Zero K is still running ahead of Kevsin here in this battle for P5 and 6. You've got Crazy Legs there, who's not too far behind them as well, looking to try and bring himself into that battle if he possibly can. Also want a big shout out to G Sanks, because he's keeping the gap at the moment at just around 2 seconds here to Jazzman. Obviously we're nearly 4 laps into the race, but the gap's been 2 seconds pretty much since the first lap, so G Sanks here seems to have some pretty good race pace, at least at this stage anyway. Tynus in house isn't really gaining on him too much, although I say that, he's gained 3/10 there through that final sector. And we have actually lost a driver here, so somebody's retired from the race. That's TJ Carter there, who's unfortunately thrown in the towel here. Where was the speed limit at the start? Why was people from behind me, ahead of me at the start? the positions are not updating. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, if I'm honest. Yeah, I don't quite know. I don't quite know the reason for that. It's a bit confusing. Yeah, I don't really know what the reason for that is, but in the meantime, Totally Zero still running in P5 with Kev Sim and Crazy Legs currently right on the back of him here as they're coming through turn 4 right now. And this is coming to battle for P5, as we said before. These guys well clear of Day, who's running a few seconds clear of Fierce Mars, and you've got Max Power, who's dropped off the back of Fierce Mars actually a little bit. So Fierce Mars has now got ahead of him and is now pulling away from him by quite a bit. So I think that Max Power's damage probably starting to cost him a little bit here. But we're watching this battle here still between Totally Zero, Kev Sim and Crazy Legs. So he comes with a corkscrew and Kev Sim there gets a snap and goes off onto the grass there, and as he lost out, as he got into the wall, I think he might have gone into the wall as well. Day there moves through. We can't really get a vantage point on Kev Sim at the moment because he hasn't come back onto the camera shot. But Fierce Mars and Max Power, they're making their way through, and Error Code will be coming up on the scene, but I think that he should be off and away by the time Error Code gets round. He's now off and away as Kev Sim and racing once again, but he has lost a load of places here. He's gone from 6th down to 10th place with that little mistake there, so that's really gone pear-shaped for him. In the meantime, G-Sanks has lost out to Tynus, so Tynus is now up into 2nd place, so he's made that move there, coming through the first sector of the lap. The gap between Jazzman and Tynus now 3.6 seconds, so has Tynus now got the pace to go after his old rival here, Jazzman, and potentially bring the fight to him over the course of this race. Got to stay in your green box. There is no green box. The lobby setting must be wrong. I'll have to have a look at that in the break. We might have to set it up so that there's just a 1. Might have to restart the server. Well, I'm sorry about that if that is the case, guys. I mean, it shouldn't be, but I don't know. It might be my formation upsetting. We will have a look at that in the break. That's annoying, to be honest with you. That's really annoying. Thing is that the lobby's already set up for the second race, so it's a real pain. We may just have to do that. We may just have to stick with what we've got for the second race, and then obviously from next week onwards it'll be fixed. Because the lobby's already set. It's already been preset, so it's going to be a massive pain in the arse if we were to change it now. Jazzman still leading ahead of Tynus, 3 seconds of gap with G-Sanks there running in 3rd place. Obviously anyone taking the mickey at the start is going to be penalised, obviously. You know, we should all know how to do a rolling start now. And I know that obviously the game isn't governing it. You know, people might try and take advantage, but we should all be holding position. I mean, come on, everybody knows how rolling starts work, don't they? I'm sure. LOL 3000 has got some damage on the front of the car, so I don't know what's happened to him there, but he's now down to P12 in this race, so he's having a bit of a nightmare there. Jamie Carlos says, I was meant to start 6th, started like 9th or 10th, but I'm done. I don't know what's going on there, to be honest. I mean, that's ludicrous. Oh dear. Not the start of the season that we wanted, I can tell you that for sure. Things have not really gone to plan here tonight. Jamie, all I say is please get yourself in for the second race. There's still plenty of action to be had tonight, and obviously I know that things haven't gone to plan in that first race, but these things do happen, and I don't know whether it's a glitch or whether it's my settings or what's gone on, but you know, it shouldn't happen again, I'm pretty sure. it's one of those things. But whatever the case, we will get it sorted out for next week. There's still plenty of racing and there's still plenty of action to be had, mate. So I just say, dust yourself off, take a break, take a breather, do what you got to do, and get yourself in for that second race, mate. Because there's still plenty of opportunities to get on the podium and have some good battles out here tonight. Definitely don't throw in the towel. In the meantime, it looks as though Crazy Legs has got ahead of Max Power up into 9th place, so he's made that move somewhere through the first sector, and now Crazy Legs into some clean air can now try and chase after Kevsim, who's running a couple of seconds up the road from him. I think Kevsim might have damage as well from his collision with the wall going through the corkscrew. Crazy Legs, I think, has also got damage as well as Max Power. I think they've all got damage at the moment. Not the biggest, not enormous, but certainly some kind of ailments on the cars at this point. In the meantime, Tynus is bringing the gap down to Jazzman, but not by much. He's down at now 3.2 seconds. So Tynus is chipping away little bit by bit here on Tynus, but not really massively. I would say that he just took half a second out of it going to the first sector there. So well, middle sector. So one moment I'm saying that it's not much, and then Tynus absolutely blitzes it there, and he is now putting Jazzman under a bit of pressure here. You can see Jazzman just making a few mistakes. I just saw him dipping a wheel onto the dirt. I saw him running wide, also coming out of turn 5. Maybe he's now conscious of the fact that he's got Tynus getting closer and closer to the back of him here, and this could be a little bit of pressure and a little bit of distraction here for Jazzman as we're coming over the line here to complete lap 9 of the race onto lap 10, and this could be now just something, a bit of a concern here for Jazzman here with Tynus in the house, our reigning champion of this PS5 GT3 Sprint League here at Motive on a Wednesday. He's now looking to try and get his old rival, who is a former champion on the Sprint League, but obviously that was when it was on the PS4. He hasn't won it on the PS5 yet, but he'll be looking to do that this season, I'm sure. These two well clear of G Sanks, who's running in 3rd place. Best of the rest right now for G Sanks. You've got Robbie there in 4th, who's not a million miles behind, but certainly not on the pace of the top 3 at this point. Totally Zero running in P5 all by himself, really. He's well clear of Fierce Mars. Day is actually closing in, I think, dare I say, on Fierce Mars? Maybe not, I'm not sure. Max Power into the pits nonetheless at the end of lap 9. Obviously that will be majorly debilitating for him because there is no mandatory pit stop here in the Sprint League. So if you come into the pits, it's basically game over. It's something's gone horribly wrong if you're ending up in the pit lane during a Sprint League race. That's just the only way to put it. But nonetheless, the gap at the front between Jazzman and Tynus has come up a little bit here. So it was down at 2.7 a few moments ago. It's now 2.9. What's the gap over the line? Keeping an eye on this delta here, down to 2.6 again. So Tynus just a fraction of a second quicker than Jazzman on that previous lap. It's currently ebbing and flowing a little bit, but on the whole, as a general trend, Tynus in the house is definitely taking time out of Jazzman. We've got 15 minutes left in this race. It's a 1 minute 23, I want to say. 1 minute 23 lap. So probably going to have around, I'd say 12 more laps, including the one we're on at the moment. I reckon it's 12 more laps in this race. We're just coming up to the halfway point. End of this lap will be the halfway point. Yeah, I reckon 12 more laps, including this one that we're currently on. So when you factor that in, I mean, if Tynus in the house would take sort of like 2 or 3 tenths out of Jazzman, he'd be right on him by the end of this race. He would be on his rear bumper by the time we get to the final couple of laps. So if Tynus continue this sort of pace, he will definitely have a chance of taking this first race of the season. But Jazzman's been doing everything he needs to do so far. He's just been keeping it cool. He's been being consistent as anything. He's been just doing the business so far. Kev's him into the pits here at the end of lap 10. So that's obviously gone wrong for him. I said earlier on, if you're pitting in the Sprint League, then something's gone wrong. There should be no reason for anybody to be coming into the pits, but Lol 3000 there, the back marker, just letting Jazzman and Tynus through. Tynus not getting the same sort of treatment here that Jazzman got, although saying that, now Lol 3000 pulls off to the side and lets Tynus through. So Tynus there into some clean air now, and the gap is down to 2.1 seconds here. So Tynus in the house was half a second quicker than Jazzman on that previous lap. He's absolutely flying here around Laguna Seca tonight. Really is getting it down, and now Jazzman's going to be watching. He's going to be conscious of that. He's going to see that his fellow Honda there moving ever so close here. As Tynus there was very wide coming out of turn 3. onto a bit onto the gravel there, a bit onto the dirt. But currently the gap is just over 2 seconds at this point. It's just heavy and flowing, but as a general trend, Titus in the house is gaining hand over fist here on Jazzman. As Kev Sim still in the pits at the moment. Is he still in the box? Yes, he is. So he has not moved at this point. As a gap comes under 2 seconds for the first time here in this race so far. There they are, the two leaders, and currently Titus in the house with the momentum here in this race. Obviously last season's champion of this GT3 Sprint League, also the reigning champion of the GT3 Championship on a Sunday night as well. He took both of the championships here at Motive on the PS5 last season, and he's now reeling in our 5-time champion here at Motive. Jazzman has won 2 of the GT3 championships on the PS5. He's won 2 GT3 championships on the PS4, and also a PS4 Sprint League. But if we were to combine the Sprint Leagues across the board, technically if we were to combine the 2 leagues, so if we were to combine the GT3 Championship on the PS4 and the PS5, Jazzman is actually a 4-time champion of the GT3 Championship, and then the Sprint League is a 1-time champion. But yeah, if we were to combine the 2, the PS4 and the PS5, he's technically a 4-time champion of the GT3 Championship, which is quite extraordinary, really. But Titus in the house, obviously last season's GT3 champion in both of the series, the Sprint League and the main championship. He's currently reeling him in. Oh, is he wide there? Oh no, and Titus has lost it! Oh, Titus gets onto the cross there, and he's spun it round. He just about avoids going into the wall. Where is G-Sanks? G-Sanks is coming out of turn oh god, I lost count. Turn 5. And as they come through the corkscrew here, Titus is going to have G-Sanks right on the back of him. He avoided damage, which means that he should be able to fight G-Sanks. Obviously, if he had damage, then he might be a sitting duck, but he's managed to avoid damage here. So Titus in the house getting it horribly wrong as he got a little bit onto the curb. He was reeling Jazzman in and looked to be set to be able to take the fight to him, but now that's going to be out of the door, and G-Sanks is now finding himself right on the back here of Titus in the house. If Titus does have damage, which he shouldn't, because I don't think he hit the wall, then G-Sanks will be looking to try and capitalise, and he'll be smelling blood, I'm sure, about that in the final part of this race. But Jazzman still with the lead, obviously, and he's now got over a 10-second gap here as Titus is having to put a lap on LOL 3000 again here. Obviously he lapped him a few laps ago, and he's now having to do so again because he made that mistake. But there is Titus and there is G-Sanks. They're just coming through out of turn 2 at the moment into turn 3. Robe there in the background is just coming around to lap LOL 3000 in a few moments time. But Jazzman has been handed pretty much a walkover here in this first race of the season. Barring any major catastrophes here for himself, he should be able to get this one quite easily here. Gidachrist there giving us a wave in the comments. Good to see you, Gidachrist. Welcome along, mate. Good to see you chiming in here as always. Gidachrist obviously races with us on Sunday nights in the GT3 Championship and has raced us a couple of times here in the Sprint League, but can't always race in the Sprint League, so it's as and when he can sort of make it, if that makes sense. But yeah, always good to see him when he's out on track, and obviously in the comments as well. Error code in the meantime has got LOL 3000 actually closing on him, is he? Or has he got ahead of him? I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest. LOL 3000 has actually just now been lapped there by Robo, so Robo there into some clean air. And the gap between Jazzman and Titus in the house just over 11 seconds at this point, so Jazzman looking to be in cruise control at this stage in the race. He just doesn't really need to push it too much, doesn't need to take any risks, he just needs to bring it home because he's basically got it in the bag already. G-Sanks just under a second is his gap to Titus, but I reckon Titus probably should be able to start to pull away now. Obviously he shouldn't have damage because he didn't end up in the wall when he made that mistake, so he should be able to go round and not really face too much of a challenge here, because he does have to pace over G-Sanks, we know that around here, unless he makes another mistake which could invite G-Sanks in for a P2, but barring any sort of situations like that, I think that Titus in the house should be able to stay ahead and bring it home for second place here in this first race of the season, as we can just see lap car there of Kev Sim, who moves over to the side and lets the second and third place drivers through. interesting first race of the season so far here at Motive for the GT3 Sprint League on a Wednesday night. See error code there getting a bit wide. Max power boost through up into P10. No dramas there. But these guys batting over the positions, obviously it will mean something later on, because batting over P10 and 11, there's good points on offer down to the depleted grid here tonight. Tynus is pulling away from G-Sanks. That's now 3.6 between those two. What could have been for Tynus in the house hadn't he made that mistake coming out of turn 4, which put him in the wall. Well, it didn't actually put him in the wall, but it put him on the gravel, and he ended up losing over time, and almost got passed by G-Sanks as well. He's managed to keep the gap to Jazzman at around 11 seconds, but it's now nearly 12, so Jazzman, over the course of the last few laps, has now started to eke out the gap a little bit. That could be down to Tynus' motivation, maybe, starting to peter out, obviously knowing that he's not got really much to race for now, except to try and stay ahead of G-Sanks, which he's doing quite easily. Oh, Tyner's making a bit of a mistake there. Just as he came out of turn 4. Same place, he's made a mistake a few times now, so needs to be careful. G-Sanks though going wide at the same place, so they both seem to be struggling through that part of the track. The gap between Jazzman and Tyner's now 13 seconds, so that's lost Tyner's another couple of seconds there, and G-Sanks actually closed in on him because G-Sanks' mistake coming through there was nowhere near as bad as Tyner's was. In the meantime, Totally Zero's putting up onto the back here of Robe, so this could be a potential move going on the horizon here for Totally Zero. Looking down the inside here into turn 4, and he's going to make that move up the inside beautifully there. There's Totally Zero, and that's job done there for him, up into 4th place. So Robe there gave him space on the inside, saw him coming, and Totally Zero there gets off an absolutely superb manoeuvre, and he's been hunting him down now for a little while, and he's finally made that move, so well done to him for that one. As these guys are just ahead of a lapped car there, who I think is Max Power. It is Max Power, so they've just got ahead of him, but Totally Zero there up into 4th place, and it's actually been a pretty quiet but strong drive from him tonight, I've got to say. I don't know whether Robo made a mistake, maybe. That might have been what has given Totally Zero the opportunity. I don't know if Robo might have damage actually as well, because he's now lost out to Max Power. He has got damage actually, yeah. Robo has got some front end damage, so that would explain that to some extent. But nonetheless, Totally Zero there has done well to get himself another place here. Fierce Mars is actually only 5 seconds behind Robo as well, so if Robo's got serious damage, then Fierce Mars might be looking at a potential top 5 finish here in this first race of the season. How positive that would be for him in this first race. But in the meantime, the gap between Jazzman and Tynus is a 1/10 of a second. So what has happened here? We've got a battle going on for the final few corners. Jazzman must have dropped it somewhere. Tynus is all over the back of him here. Jazzman is going to defend to the inside, coming into the final corner. He's going to park it there on the apex, and Tynus is going to have nowhere to go. Jazzman is going to hold on here, but a bit of a shock sort of battle there at the end, and Jazzman takes the win ahead of Tynus. Where did that one come from? Did Jazzman drop it on the final lap? G-Sanks comes over to complete the podium there in third place. These guys are a little way clear of Totally Zero, who's actually just putting a lap there on Lol 3000. As Lol 3000 goes deep there, going to the corkscrew. But to anyone who was just tuning in there and thought, why wasn't I watching the battle between Jazzman and Tynus? Jazzman was actually well clear. He was about 12-13 seconds ahead of Tynus at the beginning of the last lap, and then somehow out of nowhere they were neck and neck as they were going through the final few corners. So I don't know whether Jazzman dropped it or made a mistake or what, but suddenly there was a battle going on for the final few corners. But Totally Zero coming up towards the line. It's going to be fourth place for him here. Just comes over the line ahead of the lap card Max Power, who comes over in P10. Robe here comes over in fifth. Actually well clear of Fierce Mars, who looked like he must have dropped it on the final lap as well. So plenty of drivers here making mistakes at the end of the race. Crazy Legs, Max Power, Lol 3000 and Kev Sim have all finished the race already. Fierce Mars up towards the line to take home P6 here in his first race of the season. Error Code will finish in 11th place. Day will be the last driver to finish the race. He'll be the last driver on the lead lap as he comes over to take a very creditable P7 on his return here to Motive. So well done today. A very strong performance indeed there from him. Well done to him on coming back and getting back into it really smoothly indeed. But Jazzman here taking the win ahead of Tynus with G-Sanks on the podium. And guys, we'll be back very shortly for the second race. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. We'll have a quick practice session. To any of the guys who are tuning in, any of you who race with us on the PS5, if you want to jump in for the second race, feel free, obviously, because we do have space, and you know, us to fill out the grid. So, but yeah, thanks everybody. We'll see you soon. See you very shortly.